Mr. Dennis Trainor.
Oh! I'm a little nervous because the last time I stood in front of a room with a microphone, the night ended with me in the hospital sucking back high dosages of Percocet. So you guys might be in for a really, really good time. I'm not kidding. I was at my brother's wedding. I was the best man. This is how the story goes. And I had the mic, I gave the toast, we ate, we drank, we laughed, we cried, and we made our way out to the dance floor, where I found myself in a situation that I find myself in all too frequently. I found myself in one of those man dance battles. Are you familiar with these man dance battles? It's where one guy, white guy and another white guy are doing this metrosexual mono competitive dance thing. Back in the day, I was the king of the man dance battles. No joke. I never lost. But on this particular night, my opponent was younger. He was fitter. He was fucking crazy, man. So I do a move, he does a move. You know how it works in the crowd, like, will respond, and whoever, gets the best crowd response wins the man dance battle. Like I said, I had the crown. So he does a move, and I launch into my standard. It's an old school. It's the shopping cart into the, the sprinkler. So I'm like, and I'm feeling pretty good about myself, People love it. So this guy launches into a split, bounces up, does some robot-y thing, moonwalks, backflips into an aerial, lotus position thing. There's a Shaun White 1260 double McTwist, bounces up and puts the icing on the cake by doing a vanilla ice, torso twist, arm fold, lip pout, and goes, "You want some more of this shit, old man?" I told you I never lost a man dance battle, right? So I'm getting ready to go nuclear on this guy's ass. I mean, I've got a nuclear move. I don't like to use it. I just have it there as a deterrent. It's not really to use. I mean, I did drop a Hiroshima and a Nagasaki on one guy this time in high school. That's how I got the king of the man dance battle thing. So I'm getting ready I'm going to do his move first, and then I'm going to go nuclear on him. So I go to do a split. That's what he did. And I go down to the floor. My knee pops out of the socket, the top leg goes one way, the bottom of my leg goes the other way. I'm screaming bloody murder, looking up at the stars and the moon and the white trellises, and really the bridesmaids' dresses are very nice, I'm realizing for the first time. And the best man on the floor in his tuxedo, screaming like he's auditioning for a supporting role in Full Metal Jacket. I didn't get the role. So the kicker is, the oldest guest at the party, she's like 987 years old, wheels over to me because she's in a wheelchair. She finds the will to stand, sits down, offers me her wheelchair so I can get off the dance floor and the wedding can continue. That night I lost the battle of the man dance and lost the crown, but I have a son who has dedicated his life to avenging his father's loss. Right now, he is training in the Himalayas, on the razor's edge, so to speak, working on a full evening-length solo performance based on Everybody Wang Chung tonight, that, when mastered, will vanquish all comers and restore the crown of King of the Man Dance Battles back to its rightful family. And that's my story about the wedding. And I did mention, by way of introduction, that the last time I was standing in front of a crowd with a microphone was when I was the best man, making this tonight my first ever attempt at this thing called stand-up. So this is your 41-year-old stand-up virgin. Thank you, but that's not why I came here. I came here, and this is very important, to talk to you about something very, very important. Republicans. Tea Partiers, Republicans, Tea Partiers, Republicans, conservatives, everyone to the right of the political and cultural spectrum in this country are shit stains on the sweat-drenched panties of a $2 streetwalker. I love to drop that into conversation. I live in the suburbs, you know? Like at the bus stop with the school moms, just drop that down there and see what happens, let the chips fall where they, but I don't ever really do that. I don't really ever do it. What I do when I'm encountered with this kind of idiocy is I usually say something like, sure, yeah, I'll buy the next round. Or, I do understand I have the right to remain silent. Or, yes, insert name of your third grade child here who is classmates with my third grade child. Sure, they can come over for a sleepover on Saturday. And I know what you're thinking because people say this to me all the time. They say, listen, you pinko commie bastard motherfucking cunt. Listen to me. That's not really what they say. That's awful. They say, listen, you pinko, commie, bastard, liberal, Nazi, socialist scumbag. The United States of America is the only force for good in this country, in this world. Look at us. We liberated Iraq, and then we pulled out of that country, and now we're all over the world protecting the world from the Muslims. So if you don't like it, why don't you go bunk with Michael J. Fox and Keanu Reeves in Canada or something? To which I say, or I should say, listen, you shit stain on the sweat-drenched panties of a $2 streetwalker who happens to be suffering from rectal bleeding. The United States of America no more pulled out of Iraq than the blue-balled teenage narrator of that song Paradise by the Dashboard Light pulled out of his girlfriend. We're still there! So yes, the United States of America is like meatloaf. We blew our load without a condom in Iraq, and now we're gonna love her forever until the end of time. So now I'm praying for the end of... No. That was so overwhelming, I forgot what I was gonna say next. So we know that we're still in Iraq. This is the charming part where the newbie Wiggs takes out his notes. Hold on. Talk amongst yourselves. Right, so now we're waving our little disco sticks all over the country, sticking our dicks in any other country that existed, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Yemen, wherever we want. Why? Because the United States of America is the Don Juan of imperialism and occupation and murder. But the liberal media won't tell you that. Why? Because the liberal media is a myth. That's one of the greatest achievements of the Karl Rove, Dick Cheney, Rumsfeld era. I'm almost done, sweetheart. I got the mic. I worked on this. Why don't you run for, like, Secretary of State? You could just drop a bomb wherever you want. I just got a couple of minutes left here. I'm all thrown again. God damn it with the notes. So we don't have a liberal media. Who's the most left-wing in the liberal media? Jon Stewart and Stephen Colbert with their slacktivist protest against protest bullshit, kumbaya festival, goddamn! There's no such thing as a liberal media. I'll tell you. And you know what? I'm going to wear the label, thank you very much. I am a liberal elitist snob. Why? Because liberals, progressives, whatever you want to call them, we're right. You are wrong. End of story. Look back through history. Look at the civil rights struggle, for example. Is there any version of history that has the people who held the conservative position in that struggle to be what? What? Excusable? Yeah, sure, Grandpa did string up and lynch some black people, but he was just a product of his time. No! 20 years from now, when you're trying to explain to your kids what the big deal was about don't ask, don't tell, and gays in the military, whose side are you going to tell your children that you were on? The hate-mongering Fred Felt motherfuckers, the dick-waving military, the Archie Bunker racist bastards? Huh? Who are happy to see a gay teenager jump off a Brooklyn bridge? No, because the conservatives, the regressives, let's just call them by their correct name, the opposite of progressives, these grown men in Halloween colonial garb, these Ayn Rand, Ron Paul, clutch-waving people are going to, if given the full reins of this country, blast us back to the Stone Age. But they would have a rebuttal for that because Well, archaeologists placed the Stone Age about 700,000 years ago, making it about 694,000 years before the God created Earth. So my argument is both mathematically impossible and illogical. So I want to leave, thank you for indulging me, I'm almost done. I want to leave you tonight with one thing, because when you come up against this idiocy, it is hard to argue with that logic, so what do? Thanksgiving is coming up, after all. So I want to just humbly suggest that you do the following. It is a bit of a conversation stopper and not a conversation starter, but then again, I think it might be worth some time. The next time your Uncle Archie Bunker says something like, you know, the liberal, communist, faggot, pinko, socialist bastards are taking over this country and ruining the world, take a deep breath, don't raise your voice. Look at him and say, Uncle Archie, you are a shit stain on the sweat-drenched panties of a $2 streetwalker who happens to be suffering from rectal bleeding after an all-night Taco Bell binge on the hot, humid streets of Memphis. And I know the regressive movement has been on quite a roll for the past couple of decades, what with the assassinations of MLK and JFK and Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. But, right, right? So, god damn, the ending was good too. The stolen election of 2000, the lie that is the weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, and all these things have left progressives so punch-drunk that we actually elected Hope and Change, a man whose foreign policy is a continuation of the Bush Doctrine. So, the time has come where we have to admit that the regressive way of thinking, living, and governing is bringing us exponentially closer to the end of this country, and at the worst, or at the best, and at the worst, closer to a destiny with the biblically preordained Armageddon. So, Uncle Archie, shut your pie hole and pass the tofurkey.